Howdy, Friars. Welcome to the demo day for Foundry on December 3rd now, nearing the end of the sale. It's exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. So Skulk's going to go over some of the marketing news and what our plans are there, and what our next actions are, and what we've done. And then I'm going to show off some exciting stuff with the NIMS and share my own news, I suppose, about that as well. So over to you, Skulk.
Cool. Okay, so so specifically we had some questions in the Telegram group by Ahmed, shout out Ahmed, about the marketing. So we did do a pay for marketing through one of the crypto news media channels. We spent quite a few dollars on doing that. We got quite a few things in place to do it beforehand, but unfortunately the feedback on specifically that and the metrics we could track, we specifically tried to market the D's contract. That was a little bit underwhelming to us, right? So it was quite a bit of a spend, quite a bit of effort for what we can tell to be about zero impact. Now, I know that marketing is you have to pull the trigger a lot of times before you really get the kind of result out that you want. So we did regroup on this. I just want to very quickly explain a thing that I think happened to to us relatively early on in our life cycle. One of the things was we got the eye of two influencers, one called Fonship and one called Macro CRG on Twitter. Their whole communities basically joined in and bought a crap load of Fry, right? So we had these two major price spikes. Now, one of the issues that I think happened was due to how the sale was constructed and the fact that we didn't have thousands of participants and only a few dozen participants, those who knew how the sale worked sort of arbitraged the sale against the existing liquidity. And we sort of lost the interest of those guys, which means that our marketing, this is my thesis, our marketing worked, but we sort of lost the traction. So that initial community, we lost them. And any new attempts at marketing, lots of it overlapped with that group, and they were already in, and they were, to various degrees disinterested, right? Because of how some of the mechanics work. So our plan now is that obviously the marketing is going to be expensive, right? Our plan, you will see that we've started communicating quite a bit more on Telegram and that kind of stuff, and hopefully we can expand that extra communication in, short snip videos and that kind of stuff as well. But the plan now is basically to make sure that we have a mechanism for Leverly where we can basically start that project up as something fresh that very few people have had exposure to, but set up its economics such that if we get that spike of interest, we don't hurt those people and we don't lose them, right? So the idea is that if that didn't happen earlier on, our follow-up marketing efforts and our word-of-mouth marketing efforts would have gone a lot better. So currently,
if I could jump in just to make this maybe more easily graspable, is what you're talking about specifically, or at least a big manifestation of it, is the fry price. So when Fonship and Macro CRG got in, they got in, and then at some point later, the fry price was drastically lower. And so part of it, you're probably going to get to this now, but part of the plan with the lever stuff is to make the lever sale such that any whatever level of interest there is in people entering the sale, that increases the permafrost, which increases liquidity permanently. And so that would prevent so if we get a surge of interest, it's much better at containing that energy and not disappointing the people who've bought in with a drastically lower price of the token.
Yeah, so because so few people understood how the bucket sale worked, it was possible for somebody who entered later with less money to arbitrage a guy who entered earlier with more money. So with Lever, that won't be the case. The only person who can sell is somebody who believed in the project longer than you have, right? And not only that, anybody new who comes in will drive up the liquidity, right? So in other words, it will be sort of like an averaged out floor price that isn't precipitously far below what the sale generated. So that's kind of like what we're doing. So currently our latest set of effort is all on getting that mechanism in place, because once we have that mechanism in place, we believe we can actually start the same type of marketing we did initially, which we knew had some positive effects on the initially for Foundry stuff, and then basically point those efforts at the Lever token. If we do then gain another surge of interest like that, if it's tomorrow or if it's in 3 months or if it's in 6 months, that system doesn't have an end date, right? So it can contain that energy at any point where it happens, right? So so I tweeted out quite a long thread on this on the Foundry Twitter account. Yeah, so that's kind of like the feedback on what happened to our marketing efforts. The next set of marketing efforts beyond that is we do want to see that we raise a significant amount of money before we go further than that. Chris, who like heads our marketing, he did a lot of research on existing projects, and the majority of them, they built a small product and then they marketed that to VCs. And then eventually when they got some VC interest, that's only when they really kicked the marketing into overgear once they had a significant funding for it. Now, we don't have a significant funding for it. Well, not at the moment anyway. So we're getting everything in place that if that happens, we have both options open, right? So when we have the base proof of concept for Lever open, we can pursue VC funds if that's necessary, or alternatively, if the market sees that we're making something of value, they can then jump in. So the marketing is still a very big priority, but we need to get the stuff in place that if we actually gain new people, we keep new people, and they actually become evangelists for the remainder of the project. So that's kind of like where we are there. That's all I wanted to update.
Cool. Yeah, and apologies for not communicating as much of this lately on Telegram. The Telegram has been pretty quiet recently, but yeah, we've just been thinking through some of this stuff. But anyway, let me now demo the NIMS. I'm very excited about this stuff. So to start with the page that you all are familiar with, if you've seen this before, they now have ears. That's the that's the biggest change, and I've changed some. I've changed some other stuff about them, but so these now are at a point where I think we're ready to do an alpha launch of some sort. I just took a snapshot of the Fry token balance history from the blockchain today, so we'll probably be using that in some kind of airdrop. So that's very exciting. I'm not yet sure if this set will be auctioned, or maybe we'll just do a limited set and we just give out, I don't know, like one per Fry holder address, or one per address that's ever held Fry, for example. What Skulk mentioned about macro CRG and Fawnship is that now they'll be airdropped one of these as well. So that could be quite nice, just if they've ever held Fry before. Yeah, and then just before the demo day, I threw this together. This is pretty cool. So I was just able to, I'm cycling through NIMS now, and it just morphs to the next one. So this really illustrates sort of how every NIM is made from the same points and polygons, just recolored and stretched around a bit. So yeah, that's what's going on here. That guy has huge ears. But yeah, and for those who haven't seen the NIM project before, I'm basically using a data input here. The grayed out bits are not being used yet. If I click on this guy, so now I've loaded, there we go. Yeah, so this guy's up here now, and there's his genetic code, basically. Yeah, we have a near infinite supply of these. It's not infinite, but basically this is the possibilities, inherent in these numbers, which I can go through these and change them. You can see how the NIM changes. They're very huge. So we could, either in this release or a future release, we can make an endless auction that just generates, another random source like this and sells off the NIM. So it's, similar to the Bored Apes Yacht Club type things in that they're meant to be used as profile pics, but they're 3D native. That's one thing. And then they're also an infinite set. So we could actually have an infinite number of these, but cap the emission rate so that there's only 9 minted per day or something, some other kind of solution. Anyway, yeah, so when we airdrop these, you'll probably have a site that you can go to that'll show you one of these guys. If you have one in your wallet, then you can pay some Ether to claim it. So not sure how long that'll take to set up. One piece of work that requires will be making sure that we get this 3D stuff to render correctly on OpenSea, for example. We will have to see how difficult that is. But I'm excited. The rendering's done. That was the hard part, and I'm getting a lot of great feedback from people. So I think, again, that was the hard part. So I'm excited to move forward now. That's all I got.
Cool, man. Yeah, it looks very good. I'm really enjoying that morphing thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Chat you soon.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.